Hi everyone, welcome back to Beauty in the Broken. My name is Heather and the purpose of this channel is to create, seek, and find beauty even amongst the messes. So today I'm going to do a deep pour. I got this mold and it's kind of sticky. So there's my hair. It's on the outside, so that's a good thing. But it is Madonna and Child. And it is what's called a deep pour resin, a deep pour mold, because we're going to be pouring, it looks like 3 to 4 inches of resin. So I have already mixed up my resin right here, and we're using something specifically designed for deep pours. And that is, I don't know if that is Tea Expert or Teakspert. But it is a deep pour resin, which is designed to go up to 4 inches of depth. And it is 2 parts, but you'll notice that the mix ratio is different. This is 2A and 1B by volume. So for today, I put 3 ounces of the hardener and 6 ounces of the resin and mix them together. Now, this resin does take a lot longer to mix. It is a little more difficult to get all the bubbles out and to get mixed up. So I do have some bubbles currently in the resin, and I think I am just going to go with it, and we're going to see what happens. So because Mary and Jesus are together, it's kind of difficult to separate them and to make them different colors, or to color the faces or the clothing or things like that. So what I decided to do was, since Mary is generally associated with blue, I thought we would use the Resiner's resin dye in sapphire blue. And then we're going to put a little bit of white mica powder in, just to kind of make it sparkle a little bit. So let's get going. I'm going to shake up that resin dye off camera so you don't have to get dizzy. Okay, and then let's open it up and put some of this dye in there. All right, this bottle's a little slippery and these gloves are all right, so let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So we're going to start with 20 and see how that goes, because as soon as we put in the white mica powder, it will lighten it up a little bit. So let's just see what that looks like. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this resin does have a 60-minute working time. Some of the one-to-one resins for the other pours that we've been doing have had more of a 30-40-minute work time. So this gives you a lot longer to work. And also keep in mind that there are different kinds of resins. Like I mentioned, this is a deep pour resin. What we've been using before has been tabletop or casting resin for these shallower pieces. I'm really loving this color, but I don't think it hasn't made it all the way down to the bottom yet. So we're going to mix it a little bit more, and unfortunately that is going to introduce a few more bubbles, but I see them rising to the top. And we can add alcohol to the mold and just see what happens. I've just been waiting to try this. It took me a while. I got the mold closer to Christmas time, and I hadn't gotten any deep pour resin, so I had to wait. Let's see. There, I think that's mixed in pretty well. Oh, we see some bubbles right there on top. Let's see if we can get them. All right, so now I want to put in, this is that pearl mica powder that we had used before. So I'm going to put in, I'm thinking just 1 scoop. I want just a little bit of sparkle. And this is, it's not, actually a sparkle. It's actually more of a pearl. So it will give it just a pearl look. I was thinking about doing a simple, just a light glitter, but then I remembered glitter sinks. So we would have just glitter on the top of Mary's head, and that would be it. So I didn't want to do that. So I'm mixing this in. And as you can see on the top, it adds just a little bit of shimmer. And I'm sorry, I'm covering over it, but I also don't want to spill this cup. I did not have a silicone cup that was big enough, and I'm still not sure, even though it's narrower at the bottom here, I'm still not sure I'm going to have enough. So the good thing about it though is that the mold, resin is self-leveling, and if we don't get it all the way to the top, it will still be flat. So it will still be able to be turned upside down. Now, this looks quite shimmery. Let's make sure that shimmer has made it all the way to the bottom. Look, it has. That's beautiful. So like I said, just a little bit of a shimmer. Okay, and this is going to be relatively quick because we're just going to pour the resin in the mold. Now, I have been leaning on this, and I don't know that this is level anymore, so let me move this to the side. No, we're still good. Okay. But it is always good to double check. Okay. Now, before I do this, though, I do want to find... There it is. Put that on so that it doesn't... All right, we're going to do that later, off camera. So let's start with getting some alcohol all the way into the bottom of this mold. Oh, I guess it would be better if I held it that way. All right, and we're going to pour this in. I'm going to start at an angle to help reduce bubbles, because we all know how bubbles love to stay. So we're going to pour it in very slowly and just let it go in. And then as the resin goes in, I will slowly put it to a more upright... Oh, I see resin. I see mica that wasn't mixed in. So I'm going to stop. It's a good thing we have that longer working time, right? So let's put the mold down. See what happens when mica does not get mixed in thoroughly. It clumps up like that. There's a little bit right there. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so we may be good to continue. Oh, you know what? I might have more. I might have enough resin to go all the way to the top. Again, just pouring slowly. You know what I probably should have done is I probably should have pinched it while I had. Let's do that. Just pinch, slowly pinch all the bottom part to make sure, and then release slowly so that we don't create any more bubbles. Okay. All right. Getting close. Oh, I'm causing it to lean with my own pressure there. Hey, I may have resin. Okay. Now, this seems really wobbly. So like I said, this is the first time I've tested out this mold. So I'm not really happy with how wobbly it is. I'm going to have to put something next to it to make sure that it does not fall as it's curing. Okay. All right, that is as close to the top as I think we're gonna get. And then while I'm holding it, I'm gonna come back over here with a little bit of alcohol. Now this is the bottom, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. But yeah, that's really wobbly. So let's see. We want to make sure not only is it staying upright, but it's even. Let me look at it here. All right, that looks pretty even, but I think what I'm going to do is, let's see, let me put the lid on the mica. Put that on the other side. Oh, I can't stand it when you can't get the threads on right, but it's not going to open. So we're going to put that next to it on this side, support that, and I have some glitter over here. All right, let's bring this down a little bit. There. And then we can put the alcohol bottle, it's narrow enough, right there. There we go. All right, so let's see. I know it's not a deep pour mold, but I do have an ornament here. Let's see if we can borrow my alcohol again. Let's get the stick. Let's pour onto the stick. It's always a good idea to have molds on the side for when you have extra resin. And make sure it goes into, it's all full. Let me take a look. I think it could use just a tad more, so I'm just gonna go like, I'm just gonna drizzle some in there. And if you'll notice, like if you look at the top of the Madonna and Child, it looks like a much deeper blue. And this looks, oh, well, it doesn't to you right now. To me, it looks much lighter because let's see if we can gently move this and maybe you can see the difference. It looks much lighter because there's less volume in there. I had somebody ask me about cleanup. Somebody who is new to resin was asking me, how do you clean things up and not get resin everywhere? And that is a fantastic question. And to that I answer, your two best friends are alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and baby wipes. I keep my, as you know, I keep my alcohol in here and I use it to spray to stop bubbles, but it can also be good for cleaning as well. But I'm going to show you how I clean just these things here. This is not normally a cup that I would keep, but because I just used it, I needed something larger for this particular mold. But just for demonstration, I'll show you. So I use this baby wipe. What brand is this? I don't even know. Parents' Choice. It's called Parents' Choice Baby Wipes. I was using, what was it, Johnson & Johnson? I think it was Johnson & Johnson. And honestly, I found that it was so thin that the resin came right through it. You still want to keep your gloves on, okay? But you can just take your stick, and you can see it still has the wet resin on it. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure. And you can see that's now dry. Now, I also want to do the side and the top, because we used it to stir, or I used it to stir. I keep saying we. There's only one of me here. But I used it to stir. So now I'm just wiping it off again. And that's really all you have to do to clean your sticks. That's done. That's now resin free. Okay, so I'll put that down. And I'm going to use another one, but I'm going to start with this one that I've already used. And what I like to do first is, so that I don't get resin all over my gloves, you can see there's some resin dripping down the side of the cup. If I were to put my hand on that, I would get resin all over my gloves. So I try to clean the outside. And like I said, normally I use silicone. So you can see this is smearing. This isn't the best example, but I want to clean the edges first, because that will lessen the amount of resin that I'm potentially getting all over my gloves. So if this were silicone, it wouldn't smear like that. But I'm going to throw that one away and get a fresh one now that I've cleaned the rim and the outside of the cup. Now I can go into the cup, and it's, as you can see, my fingers are wrapped in it, and I'm just moving it around. And this has this nice little label on it, so I can know that I got it all the way around. Now you can see the resin on there. Fold it, and now we can go to the bottom of the cup and clean out that residual resin that wasn't enough to do anything with. And like I said, this is a plastic cup, so it's not cleaning precisely, but you can see how much resin that baby wipe soaked up. And the cup looks relatively clean. But anyway, so that's how I clean everything. It's primarily baby wipes and alcohol spray. And then you let it dry, and then you can use it again. Unfortunately, I do have to toss this because it won't be any good anymore. That's why I do prefer to use the silicone, so that I can wipe it out with the baby wipe, and then I can reuse it. So, all right. Well, that is that. I am going to throw these away, and I will see you for the demolding. Bye. Hi everyone, it is time for the beauty reveal. But first, I wanted to finish up what I was saying just a minute ago about the cleanup. I mentioned using alcohol, and alcohol is great for, for cleaning your hands, for cleaning out your molds, for cleaning the sticks. It is a great way to help clean things. The other thing that I didn't mention is a hand cleaner, or it can also, it can clean anything, but I just picked this up at Walmart. And for some reason, it's really good with cleaning my hands. Like, remember I mentioned the baby wipes that I used to use, like stuff would come through, or if I forgot to clean up, say like the edge first, and I got something on my hands, took my gloves off too soon, something like that. When it does come through, I think that the 7th generation, I'm sure others work. This is just the only one I've tried. So I really like it, and it helps to clean my hands and maybe if you end up with errant spots of resin that didn't get cleaned properly, it's something that you can use that most of us just keep around our kitchens. So with that being said, let's move to the beauty reveal. I'm going to start with this one because this one is the quickest and the easiest because we had some extra resin left over, and you can see that pearl in there presenting that little shimmer. It almost looks like it's a little veined. Thought that was an interesting look. So let's just take that out. And there it is, very see-through because it's very, very light color. We can get rid of that little extra piece there. But I think that looks really good. It didn't, if you look through there, that shimmer did not separate. So I think that looks really good. And I'm running my fingers along the edges and I do not feel any bubbles. So there you have it. There is a pretty Christmas ornament for next year. And I just hit this, I hit the boom arm. I am so sorry. Okay. Now to demolding our Madonna and Child. This took a lot longer than they said it was going to take. So I have no idea how this is going to come out. It did, if you look, if you remember, I filled it all the way up. It did sink. So it's not going to be as flat. So I'll know that for next time, maybe to fill it, to overfill it. Okay. So I'm going to just loosen it. And we're going to see how it comes out. All right, it's loosened all the way around. One thing you can do, another use for the alcohol, is if this does not come out easily, you can squirt alcohol or soapy water into the mold to help it come off more easily. All right. So there's the mold, there's the inside. I'm going to put that there. So, all right. So there would be the back of her veil. And I'm not seeing any bubbles. That came out very nice. Now that looks like maybe a spot where the pearl mica powder did not mix in. And look at that mother and child. Very pearlescent. I love how that pearl shines. That looks really, really pretty. I'm going to try and do some other colors with, yeah, there's another spot where it didn't mix in very well. I'm going to try to do some other colors, maybe, I don't know, I was going to try maybe painting the inside with some mica powder or some other powders and see how that works, if I can get all the way in there. But I think that looks beautiful. And you can take acrylic paint, like if you wanted to paint her eyes or, paint the garments a different color or paint the hair. But let's see, because it did not, it has that lip. Let's see how it stands. Okay. It is not falling over. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? I think she's gorgeous. There we go. All right. Well, until the next time, I remind you to always seek beauty because it's always there. Bye.